Hey, Dad, can I ask you a question?
Go to it.
This episode is sponsored by Helen Cycles, taking good care of people and their bikes since 1936. Serving Southern California with locations in Santa Monica and Manhattan Beach, with brands like Trek, Santa Cruz, Pinarello, and Colnago. We'll see you on the bike.
Tune into my friend's podcast, Things You Should Ask Your Dad, with Adam and Max. You'll love it.
What a week, Dad. God is good, as they say. And my grandmother will tell me who they are. But what a week it's been.
Yeah,
To our fellow Jews out there, La Shana Tova. It's a happy, happy New Year. Jimmy Kimmel's back on TV. Free speech is alive and good in America.
Wow.
Wow.
Maybe we're coming back. I don't know.
We're back, baby. America's back.
We're making America great again. Woo.
Yeah, exactly. What the fuck was he saying at the UN today? We're recording this on Wednesday. Yesterday.
Yesterday,
yes. Is Wednesday, September 24th. Today, he was at the United Nations yesterday, the 23rd.
Yeah.
What was going on there?
Well, talking about how he didn't get the contract to build the building and it didn't have a good renovation. That's a nutball.
And did you see that the White House has now launched an investigation to see what really happened when the escalator stopped?
Oh, right. Escalator gate.
Yeah, escalator gate.
And escalator gate and prompt. But what is it, a prompter?
The teleprompter.
Teleprompter gate. Yeah. Crazy, right?
Crazy.
America's so great. This has been pretty wild.
But clearly free speech is alive and well because, he was able to say pretty much anything he wanted to say as soon as that teleprompter went out.
Right.
He said that those countries are going to go to hell. He said said that nobody knows what they're doing, and he said that they should have built the UN with marble. I mean, what? He said he's never been wrong in his life. He said, I'm pretty much right about everything.
I had dinner with a very close friend of mine the other night, and he's a Republican. And then
where'd you go?
We went to a wonderful little spot called Pache in Laurel Canyon, and it's actually below. It's in the neighborhood, but it's below a market. And the market's really cool because there's pictures of like Crosby, Stills and Nash and Jim Morrison and all those people who lived in the canyon.
Wow.
Back in the 60s. And it's a great little Italian restaurant. Shout out Pache. It's amazing Italian food. It's spaghetti bolognese. It was so good.
Good. Well, maybe we'll shout them out right now. Maybe when I come home, not only we can maybe dine there, but perhaps we can ask if we can go in and do a podcast before they open from there. It's just a great setting. It's a great setting.
Oh, wonderful. Wonderful. So we had a really nice conversation. And, we were talking a lot about, the free speech thing. And it's amazing what Republicans will say. And, look, I get that Jimmy Kimmel got canceled by the right and, the Democrats have been canceling people.
Tried to get canceled.
Okay, got suspended by the right, and the Democrats have been canceling people for years. Listen, it happens on both sides. And we had a really nice dinner, really good conversation, and we were talking obviously about Jimmy Kimmel maybe coming back, and he came back. So I sent him the monologue this morning.
Oh no!
And I said to him, while I wasn't a fan of Jimmy Kimmel before, because I've never seen his show. I mean, I know who he is. Yeah, no, I don't watch late night. I see a few jokes here and there, and they kind of shit on everybody, including Democrats, but more so Trump over the last however many years he's been kind of in office and politics. And so I sent him this thing, and then I sent him a post from the Western Journal, how they were explaining how Kimmel lied in his monologue about certain things. And, I can kind of see that because he did kind of make fun of, the shooting, not the death, I get it. But he just writes back to me. He's like, enjoy yourself. He's like, and like my feeling is like my friend, did not watch the monologue because the monologue was very heartfelt. And, and he said all the right things, I feel. And you know what? He didn't apologize for it, but he said perhaps, what I said was, it was just taken wrong, in the eyes of many. He's like, and I'm putting myself in their shoes. And yeah, I might have been upset by it, but he didn't apologize. And I kind of like that.
What you're saying, Jimmy Kimmel didn't apologize?
He didn't apologize at all.
He kind of did, though. He walked it back and said that sort of. I see what
my
you're saying.
intentions were not to hurt people.
Exactly.
And I understand, but he didn't apologize. And then he started, he started going after Trump again. He went after this guy Carr, who's
Brendan Carr,
Brendan Carr,
chairman of the FCC.
And he was really actually, I thought, very good, and
he was great,
not malicious or anything. But my friend was like, just enjoy yourself. He's like, see where that puts you. I was just like, you didn't listen to it because you might have said, you know what, okay, this is fair. But my friend doesn't like the fact that ABC, CBS, and NBC can say whatever they want. He's like, that's not public TV. So I was like, whatever,
he clearly didn't watch it because there were many, members of the Republican Party, Trump's Republican Party, if you will, that Jimmy Kimmel spoke about in saying that he had heard from them, like Mitch McConnell apparently reached out to him
and whether that's true or not, I don't care.
Well, it was said, and that's free speech. You can say whatever he wants.
But I did hear Ted Cruz say, while he doesn't like Jimmy Kimmel, he's like, there's a big problem if we're going after free press here.
Yeah.
So,
well,
listen,
I also
who knows what happens here.
I also love the Robert De Niro.
Yes,
that was pretty funny.
Yes,
that was pretty good. But good. I think there's a bigger discussion to be had. Like pretty scary that just Jimmy Kimmel raised a couple of interesting points. How, I guess that the Pentagon is trying to, I think this is what he said. He said something like this, but that the Pentagon is trying to limit, what is being reported.
Yeah.
And it has to be like, they're saying that,
approved
journalists have to have sort of, not approved. It has to have been said in context for for journalists to be able to like report on it, which is just like, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like defeats the whole point of a journalist.
I mean, look, not all journalists are honest about things, and I get that. But, listen, to make jokes about the president or to make jokes about Congress people, when you're in the public eye, they just make jokes about you, period. And if you don't like it, then don't be in the public eye, period. End of story.
So last night, we, it's Rosh Hashanah, it's the Jewish New Year. We had a little dinner, went out to see the grandparents, and went with my aunt and uncle, had a really nice time. The dogs were there. But an interesting topic came up at dinner. We're sort of talking about like what's next for America. Like just as far as like the presidency goes, because I feel like not enough people are paying attention to the fact that Donald Trump, while he may only be about 7 months into his second term and, he's still got about 3 years to go here, which is crazy to even think about. But like people aren't looking that far ahead and they should be. Like we were talking about, for example, who's going to step up in the Republican Party, which it seems a little obvious there, probably J.D. Vance.
Sure.
But who's going to step up in the Democratic Party? And for what it's worth, is there anyone worth rooting for? And, a couple of names tossed out at the dinner table were like Cory Booker.
Not going to win.
Not going to win. Pete Buttigieg. Not going to win. Not yet. Not in Trump's America.
Well, I disagree with that. I think he's too young, but he'll get there. He's going to get there.
And then another name came up Well, I would agree. I like Pete a lot.
Yeah.
Another name came up, and at first I was like, and then I was like, well, let me hear your reasonings. And again, I'm the youngest person at the table by
Right.
far. Someone brings up Gavin Newsom.
Yes.
And I sit here, and I'm like, and they're like, well, just hear me out. They're like, clearly we as, the Democrats, as they put it,
Mhm.
need someone who can match Trump's energy, can match Trump's Republican Party's energy. And if JD Vance is going to be the guy, we need someone that can match JD Vance's
Sure.
energy,
Yeah.
who's possibly as smart or smarter or even a
Mhm.
little less smarter, as smart than JD Vance. So they bring up Gavin Newsom, and they talk about how Gavin Newsom's a fighter. Gavin Newsom can get combative. Gavin Newsom is willing to say things
Which,
politicians
mm,
normally wouldn't say.
right. But now that Trump is saying all those things, there's someone to battle him.
Exactly.
And Trump
Exactly.
shouldn't be running, obviously, in 28, but I'm
Well,
sure he'll be a big mouthpiece, even if
well,
JD Vance is running.
here's the next topic that comes up.
Right. But
I
you
being the
also,
young one at the
yeah.
table,
Uh-huh.
when we start talking about Gavin Newsom, I'm like, well, because none of them watch videos, right? They're not
Yeah.
into, they're into the articles. Even the younger people at the dinner table, where they still don't, like, they don't watch interviews. They read about it. And I'm like, guys, you have to see what these people are saying, actually saying with their voices. Gavin Newsom did an interview the other day where
Mhm.
he's talking about how he literally says, and I'm going to quote him because it was so great. Scary, but great. He goes, "Is nobody paying attention?" He goes, "Sorry, you always correct me." He
Uh,
says,
Good, good. I taught you something.
taught me many things. He says, "Is nobody paying attention?" He says, "Do you know how much money goes into merchandise?" He says, "There are Trump 2028 hats everywhere."
Yeah.
He's like, "That costs money. That costs time. That is effort to put in." So he's marketing himself. That's one. Two, he says, Gavin Newsom says in this interview, he's like, everywhere you see Trump, it's almost like he's campaigning everywhere he goes. And he's
Max.
already the president of the United States. Like, why would he be doing that if he's not trying to stick around? And the third thing, and
Yeah.
this was the most alarming, kind of silly, but I really do agree. He
Mhm.
says, and finally, he was like, what human being builds a multi-million dollar ballroom in their house just so that they can leave it? He was sort of kidding,
Well,
but
hey,
like
yeah, I
it's
mean,
a pretty
yeah,
funny
no,
thought.
I've heard that one about the ballroom, and the truth is, I don't know. I haven't been to the White House since I'm 12 years old, so maybe it does need a big ballroom, and maybe every intention it could be Newsom's ballroom next, or JD Vance's ballroom next, and I'm okay with that. I really am. That's not a big deal. If he thinks he's building it for himself because he's going to stay there until he drops dead, I have a problem with that. But I will say this. I can assure you that the Trump administration and Project 2025, the Heritage Group, they are finding a loophole in the Constitution where he will be able to run for a third term without a doubt. And if he does run for a third term, okay, which is crazy, right?
Never
It's
been done in the
unheard of
history of the
since
country.
FDR. Well, it's been done. I mean, FDR was, president for 3 terms, and that's why they made an amendment, because they were like, "Wow, there's a king starting here. Like, this is not
Right.
good." So, I think that they're going to find a loophole, and then if he does run, no matter what, he wins. No matter what. Because they're gonna say that, the election fraud, this fraud, that fraud, without a doubt. They're already setting it up. They're gerrymandering. They will figure this out for sure. Believe me, in 3.5 years, there is going to be an uproar in this country if it doesn't happen before then. But I promise you, unless his health gets bad and he's just like, I'm done. JD Vance, let's see if you can win. They're going to find a loophole. Trust me.
Well, he's certainly not going to do that.
Part of the plan.
He's certainly not going to do that. I think he's definitely not, like, as sick as he could possibly get. He'll be there. He's just so narcissistic. Like he just can't give it up.
He'll be there.
Can't give
like
it
you
up.
Said. Yeah, he'll absolutely. There's something's going to happen with him. I mean, look, there has to be a big uproar in this country, and I think it's starting a little bit. I mean, this Kimmel thing was a great, I don't want to say start, but it's a good start. A lot of people start, and Republicans, I'm saying, a lot of people are starting to like me, like, wow, what is this guy doing?
Yeah, I mean,
very
it's
unsettling.
Just, the whole free speech thing is just,
yeah.
I mean, and Kimmel said it best. He said everyone used their voice, like, in a country where he's trying to sort of get rid of free speech. People use their free speech to speak their mind about this, and and he didn't go live in every state. There were some states that didn't air his show.
Right. So Sinclair, next something, there's a merger. Nexstar, there's a merger kind of happening, and I guess so. Kimmel wasn't on 30 affiliates last night, and will continue not to be. And it's pretty fascinating because if you think about it, so Nexstar and Sinclair, they need a merger, so they need Trump's FCC, okay, to get the merger done, and then Disney loses a ton of subscribers and their stock plummets, right? So they bring Kimmel back. You gotta say it. I gotta say, Max, follow the money. It's all about the money. And Bob Iger did the right thing by bringing Kimmel back, without a doubt. And I'm interested to see what the ratings were last night.
Well, his video of the entire 28-minute monologue, it was at 9 million when I woke up. It's at 18 million right now.
It's at 18 million. So it's 18 million. I would guess that video is probably more than he gets on a show.
Definitely.
But maybe not last night's show.
I think a lot of people were tuned in, and I think a lot of people are going to be tuned in to SNL when it debuts for season 51. I just have a feeling. I have a feeling that a lot of people are watching Jimmy Fallon tonight. Just curious to see what these people say.
They'll watch Kimmel again also. Yeah.
Well, it's funny that you said, though, that you had never been into Kimmel, because I was telling Damaris that I'd never really been into his show, but I've actually seen a ton of Jimmy Kimmel, because he sort of, I don't want to say he created man on the street interviews, but he started a trend on YouTube when YouTube was in its inception, where he would do these I used to watch them all the time. Like when I get stoned in high school, really late at night, I'd just tear through his YouTube videos because they were hilarious. But he would set people up on the street and just ask them questions about things that didn't exist. It's called the pot quiz.
Right.
Instead of a pop quiz, a pot quiz. And he'd be like, oh, I just saw you walk out of the dispensary. He goes, how do you feel about LeBron James saying that he's going to leave the NBA and go play Major League Baseball and NFL in the same season? Obviously didn't happen. And these people would be like, yeah, I think it's amazing for the sport. I mean, obviously the NBA is going to lose a big star, but I think baseball and NFL ratings are going to go up. And it's just I would just start dying of laughter over that stuff. And he made a thing about it for it.
Listen, he's definitely funny. I just never watched the show. I haven't watched any shows since Jay Leno. So, and I didn't watch Jay Leno that much. I remember my parents staying up every night to watch the first half hour of Johnny Carson. And, so I don't know how many years that is, 40 years ago. And I just remember sometimes laying in bed with them or laying on the floor with them, and I would watch it with them because they didn't care if I was up. And, yeah. So, but I don't really do the late night thing. And going back to my Republican friend, so he says, well, Kimmel shouldn't be on the air anyway, because he's so adamant that the show loses money. I'm like, how do you know the show loses money? And he's like, adamant, it has to lose money. It doesn't have good commercial. I'm like, What are you saying? So if the show was losing money, why would they have brought it back?
Well,
What, to save face with the viewers and stuff? I mean,
I mean,
maybe
it's
it's possible,
to your
but
point. If they didn't, were they just going to continue losing subscribers?
probably, but you don't have a show.
But you know
Listen,
what it is?
these
You
are
know what it
big
is?
businesses. Like he said, these are big businesses, and he's not going to be on the air if the show's not making money. He's just not.
And on the other side of it too is like and who's to say Bob Iger actually like cares about, these employees of his
Of course he
at
cares.
these well, the reason I say that is because a part of this, they easily could have brought the show back because of something that Jimmy Kimmel also said, which is like, if my show ceases to exist, hundreds of people now lose their job.
Right. But again,
And
if the show is not making any money, there's no money to pay those 300 people. So, clearly the show's
sure
making.
there is. Disney's
That's
got
not
money.
but that's not the way business works, Max. It's just
I'm sure,
not.
but I'm just saying, like,
If that one show is not making money because they're not getting good commercials, getting good sponsors and all this stuff, it's done. So my
so you
guess
said,
is it's not done.
so you said that you used to watch a little bit of the Carson show with your parents and you kind of like lay on the floor and whatnot, right? Do you
Yeah.
remember when I was a kid? A couple things. So like the first thing is I remember vividly when I was a kid and you and mom would tuck me in at night.
Mhm.
I'd always ask for two things. I'd say, one, can you leave the door open to my
Yeah.
bedroom? And
Yeah.
two, I'd always ask, where are you going? And sometimes you would say, I'm going into my room, like, and who knows
Right.
if you were telling the truth or not, I wouldn't know. But it just made me feel better.
Yeah.
You would also
It's
say, like, oh, I'm just going out to the garage, and I'd actually hear you sometimes. Like I'd stay up another 30 minutes, just like tossing and turning. I'd actually hear you go out to the garage.
Hmm.
It got to an age.
My man cave.
Yeah, it got to an age where that sort of like fizzled out, and like I wouldn't ask that, and
Right.
but the reason I just bring that up is because another thing I would do is, one, there was a period of time where I would just like run from my bedroom at like this like clockwork, like weapon style at
Right.
2:17 a.m. every fucking night. I'd
Oh yeah.
run
And
into your
jump into our
bedroom,
bed. Yeah.
jump into bed.
So
And then
cute.
there was a time period or a period in time where uh I'd just come in and ask if I could sleep on the floor that night. And I just
Right.
fucking remember when I would take the pillows from the green couch, make a bed on the side of your bed. And
I do
oh
remember.
my God, that is a deep cut. That is something I just remembered right now as I'm thinking about it. But
Hmm.
it's just funny, like father, like son. You used to do that with your parents, and I used to do it with
Yeah.
my parents.
It's normal, I think.
And then it got to a point where Ryan and I would sleep at the foot of the bed
Right.
every night.
Every night on
Like,
the
what are we
floor.
what are
On
we
the floor.
doing?
On the rug. You'd lay down a blanket, you put some pillows down, then you have another blanket on top. And the four of us, we might as well just had a one-bedroom apartment. It would have been
I
fine
know.
for many years.
Many years. Yeah, I miss those times.
I got to tell you what I did today. So I woke up early. I went on a bike ride, and it was absolutely glorious out. And then I went on a 110-mile motorcycle ride.
110?
Yeah, yeah,
What?
yeah. I was just like I knew about this loop. I knew there's a great road up in Santa Clarita called Bouquet Canyon, and I rode my bike up there a couple of weeks ago. But I had driven the car to Santa Clarita, and today I was just like, you know what? I mean, I just want to go exploring. So I went up that canyon as far as I could go, and then I made a left into some neighborhood, which is like it's like somewhere out of Deliverance. If you've ever seen Deliverance,
No, I haven't.
Deliverance is a movie that takes place in the South. It stars Burt Reynolds and John Voight and Ned Beatty. It's back in the 70s, and it's a canoe trip, like four guys from the city, and they end up running into like crazy rednecks in the South, and they end
Oh.
up getting raped, and it's a
Whoa.
pretty crazy movie. But
That took a
if I'm
turn.
not Yeah, but if I'm not mistaken, it's like an Academy Award winning movie. Maybe, I don't know, but like Burt Reynolds is a huge star at the time, and so I was in like these back roads, and I was just like, I wasn't in the middle of nowhere because there was like a great barbecue restaurant, and then I hit a gas station. I actually hit a motorcycle shop, or maybe a guy collecting 50 motorcycles, and it was so nice. And then yeah, I stopped off at a motorcycle shop to buy some boots and buy a new helmet because my helmet's 6 years old and
Some boots
that need to be replaced. Yeah, I want to look the part a little bit.
Why didn't you just get Blundstones?
You know what? Motorcycle boots are very stiff ankle protection
Oh,
in case
okay.
you go down, and then the left shoe actually has some reinforcement because you're playing with the clutch a lot. Not the clutch, but like how you switch the gears, so
Hmm.
they can kind of chew up shoes a little bit.
Sure.
So yeah, so that's what I did. And then, I took the 5 freeway home and doing 80 miles an hour on the 405. Man, I am in cloud number 9 right now. It's fucking I'm in such a good mood, Max. I gotta tell you,
Good.
this is a game changer. I was watching, I don't know if I mentioned this on the podcast last week. If I did,
Yeah,
I'm
I
sorry.
think you did. You're watching motorcycle YouTube and everything.
Right. But did I tell you, did I mention the salty old biker, which is totally me at this point? So this guy, the first 5 minutes of a video, he's like, maybe you're in your mid 50s, maybe work is
We
going
had this
well. Yeah,
exact
okay.
conversation
All
on
right,
the
never
last
mind.
episode.
Okay. All right.
Don't,
Forget it.
this is why we need to start
Okay.
writing some topips down sometimes because
All
we
right.
just
We'll take
sometimes
notes.
we repeat.
Okay.
Sometimes.
All right, then I won't repeat that. Sorry.
It's okay. So
Sorry,
I'm
everybody.
happy for you though. I'm happy for you though. I'm
So
very
much
thrilled. Very thrilled.
So much fun.
And you should be happy for me. The Yankees are in the playoffs
Oh,
somehow,
yes.
some way.
Yeah.
Somehow. I don't know how,
What's
but they are.
okay? Good.
The
When does
Dodgers are
playoffs start?
end of September. So
Couple
well,
more
actually
days.
about a week. So we'll
You
find
your
out.
grandmother's birthday is tomorrow. You know that?
I know. I do.
Shout out my mother, Helene. She's turning
Who
83 years old.
won't be listening to the podcast.
No, she will
but
not be listening to the podcast.
I'll never forget how she asked, or she said like a year ago that she was going to listen to the first episode.
She's
like, I'm getting around to it. And it's like a year later. And
yeah, 45 episodes later, she's listened to 2 episodes. Yeah, whatever. You know what? Who cares?
I don't think she's listened at all. But anyways,
whatever.
Yeah,
life.
and so her birthday's tomorrow. Playoffs start in a week.
Yes.
Shohei Ohtani is still the best player on the planet. 50 home runs, and now he's pitching at a very high level.
Wait, time out. So I was in a gas station picking up some 5-hour energy drink, and there is a little capsule, like a little drink thing that says Shoei, and it's an energy drink.
Oh my God.
So I'm reading it and I'm like, I'm ready to take it, because I just, I need a little pick me up. And it says literally on the bottle, it says no caffeine. I'm like, well, what's the point?
You and your caffeine. So you have this caffeinated beverage that at first looked quite intimidating when you bought it, when we went out to San Francisco. Ghost Energy.
Ghost.
The orange creamsicle.
So good. Did you try it?
So I saw it the other day and I'm like, this looks heavy, Doc. This looks heavy.
Yeah.
But then I put it up next to a Celsius and it's basically the same ingredients, the exact same amount of caffeine.
Yeah.
So I took it. It was great.
It was great, isn't it? It's a good drink.
But I won't have any of the other flavors. That they're kind of gross. Like what are they doing? Sour Patch, Swedish
No, that's
fish.
disgusting. They make a grape that's
I've seen that.
It's
I've seen that. All right, so that could be an option.
I have a crazy addiction. I take this thing in the morning before I go for a bike ride. It's called Tweaker. And it's 300 milligrams of caffeine. It makes me feel great, and then
You are a tweaker.
I'm popping like goo gels, and they got 35 milligrams of caffeine, this caffeine. And then, go on a motorcycle ride. Well, I'm gonna have more caffeine because I gotta be up, like, doing all this stuff is exhausting.
Do you ever hit a wall or something? Like,
I hit a wall every night. Once that edible kicks in, then I'm pretty much
what about like no, but like a caffeine wall where you're just like, oh, now I got a headache. Now I don't feel too good.
No, I don't get headaches. I don't get heart palpitations from it. Yeah, no, I don't get that. And that's why, I have customers, and I also have like my boss is like, how much fucking caffeine are you gonna take? 500 milligrams?
Yeah.
Listen, I'm a big guy. I'm 230 pounds. I think I can handle some caffeine.
All right.
It's all good.
Something I've been thinking about a lot is, again, I think I've mentioned this a few times, but just sort of picking up some hobbies, right? And, I've picked up a few good ones, obviously, but there's one that like I would love to revisit, but as I'm looking at it, it's like it's impossible to revisit this hobby. Because when I was doing it originally, so cheap, so affordable. And now it's like kids can't even enjoy it, and it was meant for kids to begin with. And
Cards?
I'm not sports cards, and I'm not going to be able to get into it until I'm rich. It's just too expensive.
Are they that expensive now?
Yeah, a box of cards that I probably would have bought for like $60 back in 2015, 2016. It's like $300.
Yeah, but what if you went to just like like a Target or one of these little places like on the street, and you just picked up a couple packs? I mean,
it's just not worth it at that point. It's just not. The game has changed. It's like
I get that, but like it's got to be some value in just opening up a pack and going through it, and maybe a couple of the players are pretty good, and then you put those aside for the future, see what happens to those guys. I mean, look. When I was a kid, I was opening up packs of Tom Seaver and Reggie Jackson and Nolan Ryan and Wayne Gretzky. And I think I've mentioned I have a lot of Wayne Gretzky rookie cards. They're worth a lot of money. So there's always a possibility. And I think that's part of the collection, and there's going to be a lot that you throw out eventually.
Oh, yeah. I mean, but I was never into the whole like collecting because they're worth something. I actually just enjoyed opening the packs and seeing what I got.
All the more reason to go to a Target or go to a place in the city.
But even then,
go pick up, chew the gum, but even then, what?
No gum anymore.
I know.
But even then, like these boxes that I used to go, like I'd ask you to take me to Target to get.
Yeah.
They were once $20. They're now $60, and I'm like, I don't want to spend my money that way right now.
Okay, that's all right. Maybe you get a box a month.
It's not a bad idea.
$60 comes out to what? It's 24. It's $15 a week. Big deal. You could look at it that way.
I could, but I don't know. I do miss it.
Somewhere.
I do miss it. I talk about it with a buddy of mine who, man, me and him were we collected all the time. I remember one Christmas, like a couple days before we had gone and gotten a few boxes, these boxes that we had gotten for like probably $80 at the time. They're now thousands of dollars because like there's a particular card in there that's now worth a ton of money. So rightfully so, they ramp up the price. Yeah. But I remember one Christmas, his dad bought him 4 boxes. And we just were talking about it the other day. Like those 4 boxes now are enough for like a down payment on a house.
Who's in it?
There a couple of guys, but the most notable one is Giannis Antetokounmpo, who's like he's basically, if LeBron wasn't in, still playing basketball, I mean, he's like, he's current LeBron. He just needs a few more championships, but he's current LeBron. He's great. But like, and we probably had his rookie card back in the day and just,
right.
Because he was a nobody.
Saying, like your card collection in 2025, if you want to start it, who knows what happens in 36? You're like, holy shit, this guy had a sickest career.
I know. I definitely still have an interest. A, because we're talking about it right now, but B, because I've walked by 2 different shops right by where I live, and I've gone in both times just to look around, and I'm like, you know,
You know what, Max? If you can, go in there and spend $25.
I know
and just see what
it would
happens.
just make me feel good. It would. And I loved
So,
like collecting and putting them in the sleeves and putting them in the top loaders
uh-huh.
and just
Yeah.
not even looking at them. I'd put them away and like maybe once a week, just take them out, look at them, and be like, yeah, I have this card. That's cool.
So I collected cards when I was younger, baseball cards, a few hockey cards, football cards,
Yeah.
basketball cards, collected everything. And most of the stuff is still in my parents' basement.
Mhm.
And it's sitting in these, they're all sitting in, they're all warped now, but they're all sitting in these cool cases. And over the last, 32 years, I have been pulling out what I wanted. That's where I found the Wayne Gretzky cards, and that's where I found some Ricky Henderson cards. And, like, so I have a whole card collection here, which you know about. I mean, I have Ted Williams, I have like all this stuff. And it's nice to have it. And, it's 45 years out if
I
you think
know.
about it, like, so it's just a nice collection. But the cards in my parents' house on Long Island, they're just going to go away like the furniture and everything else once they move on.
Well, we did grade a few of your cards
Yeah.
during COVID.
Yep.
Wayne Gretzky, I think
Yeah.
two of them.
Yeah, they didn't get great grades, and he's remember what he said. He said there can't be cards that are that many cards. One person can't have that many cards that are that good. Remember he
Right.
said that.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to get them graded again because it costs $300 to grade them.
Yeah.
So I was like,
And that's the
fuck it.
point. That's the
But the
point.
guy literally
That's
said, I have like 4 Wayne Gretzky cards. We graded 2, and the guy's like, 2 cards from one owner can't be this good.
yeah.
Like, fuck you. So
You're hilarious. All right, Dad. Well, this has been a lively episode of things you should
hey,
ask your dad.
hey,
Which
I'm
we have
alive,
to
man. I'm alive.
start saying that at the beginning. We have to start saying, "Welcome back to things you should ask your dad." You
Yeah,
have to.
people are tuning in. They're tuning
No,
in
no, no.
because yeah.
You have to. You have to because that way there's some brand visibility here, right? What if a new person is tuning in for the first time and
But they
they've now made
but
it to the
but
end of the
Max, but
episode?
they pressed play on on the video or the Spotify thing that says things you should ask your dad. They pressed it, so they know
Doesn't
what they're
matter.
in for.
Doesn't matter. You have to do it. You got to do it.
Okay.
Just like
Well,
just like you tell people what to do at the end of every episode. You got to do it.
right. You got to do it. Yeah. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Don't forget to subscribe, tell your friends, check out our Instagram post today. Pretty fucking awesome. DM your friend. We got a lot of DMs on that, like a lot of
I
people
know.
sending it away. That's good. That's good. So, yeah, I love you, Max, and I miss you. And Shana Tova.
Shana Tova. And I think hopefully perhaps this might be the clip that's up right now on our Instagram might be by the time we wake up
Yeah, we'll see.
our most viewed video yet.
Probably. Yeah.
So we'll keep you
Could
posted,
be
everyone.
tonight before we go to bed.
Could be.
All right.
Could be.
I love you.
I love you too, Dad.